Welcome, everyone. While I set this up, welcome to American Northwest Magazine. So, we are going to be examining and commenting about a video from Dr. Eric Berg, and we acknowledge he's a chiropractic doctor, and that's why he uses the designation doctor. As far as his nutritional and other health information, that would be something that is actually backed up by his abilities to do research and look at research. So he, to me, is a very good source of information. Of course, I like to back it up by checking the information. And by the way, excuse this video that I'm not showing my face in this video, so you'll just see the gray box to the bottom there. Okay, so we're going to stop this video. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and begin the video with Dr. Berg, and then we're going to cut and make comments. First of all, the reason this is real important to me is that this is a bacteria that only like 4% of the U.S. population still has. You get it from places like breastfeeding, and it gets killed by things such as antibiotics and so on. And the thing that it improves that I'm hopeful about is that it increases your percentage of muscle and decreases your percentage of fat by tens of pounds. And of course, increases the ability of your immune system and so on. But those are the initial reasons it's very important to me. And the fact that we had it until about the 50s, maybe 60s, 70s, he talks about it, but we just don't have it anymore in our system, or if we do, it's a very small amount. And of course, they'll give us a remedy as to how to increase or reintroduce this bacteria into your body. And I believe also it can reduce the amount of bad bacteria. But we're going to go to the video now. And here we go. Please make a comment if the audio is bad or something. And I'm paying attention to the comments right now while we're live. Also, there are some links in the description to this video, as well as some other references that we're using. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to American Northwest.
Is it possible that your depression or anxiety is coming from a missing microbe in your gut? This video is going to blow you away. I want to share some very new and powerful information on the gut microbiome and its association with your overall mood. And I have a dynamite solution that I think you are going to love, and it's a whole recipe, and I'm going to walk you through it. Let's just take digestive enzymes. Humans make 17 digestive enzymes. The microbiome makes over 60 digestive enzymes. And these microbes are the only thing that can digest fiber. We as humans do not have the ability to break down fiber, but microbes do. They take the fiber, they break it down into this certain fat, and that's called acetic acid, that actually helps feed the colon cells. But there's also another breakdown molecule that mimics ketones called butyric acid. And one of the biggest things that microbes do in relationship to your mood is contribute to the production of neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are like hormones, but they travel through the nervous system. I'm talking about serotonin, dopamine, GABA. 90% of all the serotonin in your body is made in your gut. And so we have also a highway between the gut and our brain. It's called the vagus nerve, and it goes two ways. So, in other words, you can have depression or anxiety if your gut is not right. And if you have depression or anxiety up here, that will affect the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome also has the ability to break down
Well, excuse me,
toxins,
everyone. I
medications. They
went
turn
off
certain
and looked
antioxidants
at
in
the
your food
video,
into
and I
other
can
amazing.
see that it is not sharing the screen. I sincerely apologize for this. We're going to try and fix this.
Compounds that help us. And what I really want you to know about this topic is that you have mostly good bacteria. I want to share some very new and powerful information on the gut microbiome and its association with your overall mood. And I have a dynamite solution
Let's see if
that
this
I
is
think
working.
you are going to love. And it's a whole recipe, and I'm going to walk you through it. Let's just take digestive enzymes. Humans make 17 digestive enzymes. The microbiome makes over 60 digestive
I
enzymes.
apologize.
And these
this
microbes are
isn't
the only
working.
thing that can digest fiber. We as
so,
humans do not have the
go
ability to
into
break
the
down fiber.
description,
But
and I
microbes
will
do. They
have
take the fiber, they break it
a
down
link,
into
or
this
excuse me,
certain fat, and that's
a
called
number
acetic
that you
acid
can
that actually
fast
helps
forward
feed
to
the colon cells.
to
But there's
get to
also
the
another breakdown
video.
molecule that mimics
And again, this is
ketones
an
called
experiment,
butyric
and
acid. And one
I
of the biggest things
apologize
that
for
microbes
this,
do in relationship to
but we're
your
going to try and
mood
fix
is
it in this
contribute to the
video. So
production of
fast forward
neurotransmitters.
to where
Neurotransmitters are like
the
hormones,
description
but they
says
travel through the
that
nervous
it
system. I'm talking
begins
about serotonin,
correctly.
dopamine, GABA.
Obviously, if you're watching
90%
this
of all the
live, then
serotonin
you're
in your
with me on
body
this
is
experiment.
made in
Thanks.
your gut. And so we have also a highway between the gut and our brain. It's called the vagus nerve, and it goes two ways. So, in other words, you can have depression or anxiety if your gut is not right. And if you have depression or anxiety up here, that will affect the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome also has the ability to break down toxins, medications. They turn certain antioxidants in your food into other amazing compounds that help us. And what I really want you to know about this topic is that you have mostly good bacteria, okay? And we also have some bad bacteria that's kept in check by the quantity of good bacteria over here. And the good bacteria maintain and support the gut wall to prevent the bad guys from crossing over. And so what happens when we have antibiotics, glyphosate, that's an herbicide, which by the way, it's in a lot of your foods. When we eat junk foods, medications, we go through stress, alcohol, smoking, pollution, all of that diminishes the microbiome. We get less neurotransmitters made. We get an alteration of the blood sugar, but we also get a migration of certain pathogens that start traveling up into the small intestine, which is about 20 to 23 feet. So normally we don't want a lot of bacteria in the small intestine. And when these bad guys go up into the small intestine, there's competition of nutrients. So now we develop nutrient deficiencies. We get small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And then this leads to more inflammation, leaky gut, allergies, inability to eat certain things. All right, now I want to talk about something very interesting. The doctor who wrote the book Wheat Belly and also a new book called Super Gut, who I'm going to interview shortly, came up with the most amazing protocol where you can actually grow your own probiotics in a certain dairy product, but it's not even a yogurt. It's a super concentrated probiotic that can do tremendous good for your body. Dr. Davis found a way to a very specific microbe, and I'm going to share a little bit with you, and then we'll talk.
Okay, we're going to continue here with our own narration of this. And I've checked the audio. It seems to be working well with my microphone as well as the videos and display capture that we're using. So this yogurt that they're going to, or that he's going to show us how to make, comes from a probiotic that, let's see, what is his name? It's going to be here. Maybe on this page. I think, it's Dr. Davis, Dr. William Davis. And here he is, Dr. William Davis. So he is the author of a book, as you'll see, that was very popular called Wheat Belly. So he's developed a bacteria, a probiotic that has this in it. But in order for you to amplify it and get a high quantity of this bacteria, you need to make it into a yogurt. It's technically not a yogurt because it doesn't have the particular bacteria in it that would constitute a yogurt. But basically, you would make it at 99 degrees Fahrenheit for 36 hours after putting this probiotic in, a certain amount of half and half, and some inulin. But anyway, let's go back here to so this is a website from the United States government, National Institute of Health, and it does say it's an official website of the United States government. However, PMC PubMed Central, I'm not quite sure what it is. It's a third party, apparently, but it's on the National Institute of Health website. So you know what? I'm so sorry. We haven't been tab. Okay, now we're sharing the tab. So again, an official website of the United States government, and it is NIH.GOV. So from here, we're going to go to, let's just go to the conclusion. There has been a decrease in the abundance of L. reuteri in humans in the past few decades, likely caused by modern lifestyle, antibiotic use, Western diet, I would say mostly consisting of bad carbohydrates and pesticides and stuff like that, just processed food in general, and big agriculture, and improved hygiene. Such decrease coincides with higher incidences of inflammatory disease over the same period of time. While evidence is lacking to establish the correlation, it may be helpful to increase L. reuteri colonization and or facilitate its probiotic function as a new and relatively safe strategy against inflammatory diseases. In addition, through direct regulation or indirect modulation via the host microbiota, L. reuteri plays an impressive role in eliminating infections and attenuating both GI diseases and diseases in remote tissue. The safety and tolerance of L. reuteri has been proven by the numerous clinical studies. There are multiple L. reuteri strains with different hosts or origins, and many of the probiotic functions of L. reuteri are strain dependent. So in other words, we need to have the right strain. Therefore, it may be advantageous to combine different strains of L. reuteri to maximize their beneficial effects. Now, I don't know about this probiotic that Dr. Davis has produced, but we'll get to that, and so will they probably if you watch the whole thing. So we're going to go back to the video now, and here is Dr. Berg.
to Dr. Davis himself. First of all, this microbe has been highly studied. Quite a few studies relate to how this microbe can lower depression. And also, if someone is on an SSRI for a period of time, that's one of the side effects as well. So the good news is that there could be a potential solution for that specific problem. So Dr. Davis talks about this in his book. When you typically make yogurt, they usually ferment it for like 4 hours. So what Dr. Davis did is he found that you have to ferment it for 36 hours. And to grow this specific microbe, you want to use a certain temperature. Okay. You want to use body temperature, which is 98.6, but we round it up to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. So what Dr. Davis has put together is a way to kind of use a yogurt maker. Okay. And you're going to use a dairy product, which I'm going to demonstrate all this. And you're going to put a certain microbe in there. And then you're going to feed it a little fiber, which I'll explain. And then you're just going to leave it at 99 degrees for 36 hours. And when you come back, and it's going to be a very delicious product. And then he recommends to take a half a cup a day. Now, I've been doing this and I've been taking it right before bed. Wow. I'll share the results with you. But let me just first complete talking about this microbe. First of all, it survives the stomach acids. Second thing, it releases a chemical that does not affect any of the good microbes, just the bad. And a lot of people get benefits by taking antibiotics with their skin. They might get rid of like rashes and certain infections like styes in the eye and all these things. But of course, they're using a regular antibiotic, and that comes with a package. Well, this is a natural process that you don't develop resistance against. So that's just one thing. It does this chemical, wipes out the bad guys in the small intestine. It also makes oxytocin. Oxytocin is an amazing hormone that does a lot more than we thought. It not only helps with like social bonding, but it really helps to lower cortisol, which is involved in anxiety and even depression. So it's an amazing stress hormone. There's been some interesting anecdotal reports of increased muscle mass, great deep delta wave sleep, thicker hair, better younger skin. But the main thing is an overall better mood. So let's do this. Let's interview Dr. Davis, and then I'm going to roll right into how to make this amazing, highly concentrated probiotic that you can take every night before you go to sleep or take it during the day to help you with whatever you're going through. All right, let's go to Dr. Davis right now. How did you kind of isolate or stumble on this very specific microbe? I mean, there's other microbes, but I think the main one you talk about a lot is the L or Lactobacillus reuteri. So can you tell me a little bit about how you kind of stumbled on that microbe versus other ones?
Well, it was real simple. I make most of my ideas by mistake, by making big blunders. So that's how I came to the wheat belly idea, trying to minimize the expression of small LDL particles. As you know, the real cause for heart disease, not this nonsense about LDL cholesterol. So I saw people, you and I have a lot of success in helping people regain health. And so with wheat, grain, and grain elimination, sugar elimination, and a handful of common nutrients that are lacking in modern life, and we see all kinds of wonderful things like a reversal of type 2 diabetes, loss of fatty liver, weight loss, etc. But it was clear that was incomplete. Even when I added some basic microbiome strategies like a high potency multi-species probiotic or.
So to interrupt, one thing that Dr. Davis just said that I think is very important is the fact that it, or at least the hypothesis that it helps eliminate fatty liver disease. I think more than 50% of people in the United States might have fatty liver disease. But we'll go back to the video now.
Prebiotic fibers and fermented foods, I still saw some residual problems. For instance, somebody says, my rheumatoid arthritis is much better. I got rid of the biologic injections. I got rid of the prednisone, but I'm still taking naproxen as needed for occasional mild flare-ups. Why? So I looked for what else there was. And I started thinking about the hormone oxytocin. I don't remember why. There's a really crazy set of Frankenstein experiments being conducted by a woman named Irina Conboy. She's been at Harvard, Stanford. I think she's now at UC Berkeley. And she did something really creepy. They took an old rat and cloned it so that they got a young rat that was immunologically and genetically identical, and then connected their circulatory systems. Yuck. Well, then they called it heterochronic parabiosis. 2 times next to life. Well, lo and behold, the old rat becomes young. And so they asked, well, what are the mediators? That work is ongoing. But the first mediator they isolated, they're a bunch of peptides. The first mediator that they isolated was oxytocin, what people regard as the hormone of love and empathy, what some ladies regard as the drug they get to induce labor when they're pregnant at term delivery, term pregnancy. Well, then an MIT group, a cancer group, were exploring the anti-cancer effects of Lactobacillus reuteri, and they discovered all kinds of unexpected effects. The first thing they observed was that their fur, in their words, became rich and luxurious.
Wow.
So they started doing all kinds of crazy things to these mice, like inflicting wounds in their skin, and watched healing time cut by half. They watched old mice become young again. So, for instance, if you look at muscle that's atrophied in older mice, young muscle cells come back. Their libido, their mating behavior comes back. The immune system is amplified. In other words, it changed. They even did this. They did a crazy study. They gave 2 groups of mice a lousy diet, purposefully meant to mimic fast food. The mice that got just fast food got fat and old and lost their hair, stopped mating. They got old and died. The mice who got the same crappy diet, but with reuteri, stayed slender, rich fur, mated. They stayed young until death.
So,
And so we're going to take a break here from his interview with Dr. Davis and look at some other aspects about L. reuteri that we found. And so consumer search, I'm not sure of the credibility of this website, but it's some more information. So what is lactobacillus or Lactobacillus reuteri, otherwise known as L. reuteri? It's a species of beneficial bacteria naturally found in the human gut and other parts of the body, such as the mouth. It plays a vital role in maintaining a balanced microbiome by inhibiting harmful bacteria, which I mentioned before. And so it inhibits harmful bacteria growth and supports digestive health. Many people take supplements containing L. reuteri to enhance their gut flora, promote nutrient absorption, and support overall wellness. One thing I learned from this video is that those supplements you can use to make the yogurt to increase the amount of L. reuteri in the yogurt for you to eat. But for most people, just taking the supplements might be just enough. But for people with some bad bacteria in their small intestine, I believe it was, I forgot what it's called, but it's four letters that has to do with the small intestine. But anyway, if you want to get rid of that, you really need to have the increased amount of L. reuteri in the yogurt. And that video, of course, will be located at the end of Dr. Berg's video. It'll pop up on how to make the yogurt. So some commonly reported side effects. Although L. reuteri is generally considered safe for most individuals, some users report mild side effects when beginning supplementation. These can include gas, bloating, or mild stomach discomfort as the body adjusts to changes in gut bacteria composition. Such symptoms are usually temporary and subside within a few days or weeks. So it looks like we don't have anyone here but myself, but we're going to continue this video as it will be non-live video after we're done with the live. Okay, we're going to go back to the video now.
Okay, so this experiment with the mice, I think that was the missing point. They gave them a certain microbe, L. reuteri, because of oxytocin. They wanted to increase it.
They did, but they didn't set out to do just that. They kind of stumbled on that. So, like a lot of things I do, a lot of this was by accident. So they wanted to understand, first of all, why that rich, luxuriant fur issue. And it became clear they opened a whole Pandora's box of effects. Well, I got that same microbe. It was available commercially from a Swedish company, but it was available as tablets for infants. So very teensy-weensy doses. So I simply reasoned, let's ferment it as something that looks like yogurt, but we're going to ferment it using prolonged fermentation. So Reuteri will, as you recall, microbes don't have sex. There's no mommy, daddy, male, female microbe. They just double. So Reuteri doubles every 3 hours at human body temperature. So I made yogurt. It's not yogurt, of course. It looks and smells like yogurt, but I used prolonged fermentation. I allowed 12 doublings. I performed something called flow cytometry. It's just a way to count microbes. And we get 300 billion. So far more, about 1,000-fold more than the original tablets for babies. I just started talking about it. Gave to all my neighbors. I started eating it.
Okay, so the question I have is, so when you did you initially know how to do that, or you just go, okay, let me try something, and well, I guess that didn't work. How did you know to ferment it for 36 hours?
Hit and miss.
Okay.
And then I did repeated flow cytometry counts. It became clear the number I first picked, 36 hours, was the sweet spot. That's where you get maximum number, at least as yogurt. And if you go to 48 hours, you get a plateau. You actually get an increase in dead microbes. So 36 hours, which, by the way, is very different than what they do in commercial yogurt making, which is 6 to 12 hours.
It's ridiculous. I guess the reason, at first, did you think, well, I think we'll just take this microbe as a supplement, right? Were you thinking at first, like, oh, we'll just take it and it'll work just by taking it?
You can, but the quantity in the original product, which called BioGaia Gastrus, Gastrus, the infant tablets. So when you take it, nothing happens. When I called the company, I talked to the exec. I said, "Hey, I'm playing with this your tablet's making yogurt." They said, "You can't. No one's ever made yogurt from it." And they said, "We don't know anything about that MIT nonsense. Don't call us again." They essentially shut it all down. So I said, "Okay, fine." So I made the yogurt. And now we have thousands and thousands of people doing it. And the crazy thing is, so as elegant as that MIT work was, we're learning new lessons, both from human experience and some limited efforts in clinical trials. We're seeing all kinds of things happen. But you know what? As you know, usually when you see stuff happen in mice, it's usually not corroborated in humans. It falls apart. In this instance, to my great surprise, everything seen in mice has proven true in humans.
Wow.
So we see a restoration of youthful musculature, an increase in strength. Older guys over 50 get about a 50% rise in testosterone. Older ladies get a restoration of vaginal moisture and sensation. There's an increase in libido, which leads to some very embarrassing stories. There is a presumptive increase in the immune responses. People seem to get better faster. There's an acceleration of healing from minor wounds. And I tell this to ladies, I'm sure your audience is a lot like mine. My audience is 87% female. And they all say this to me, incredibly. They say, "Oh, we don't care about muscle and the immune response. We just want better skin." I said, "What?" All right, fine. So I did a little clinical trial on ladies, big ladies. I said, "Don't change your diet. Don't change your exercise program. Just take these." That was Reuteri. I added some other things to amplify the skin effects: collagen peptides, hyaluronic acid, and the carotenoid astaxanthin. And we did high-resolution skin ultrasound, and we showed a big increase in dermal thickness. Ladies are thrilled because they lose their crow's feet and their smile lines, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
But I happen to measure the waist circumference. It's free. You and I don't have the budget of pharma. We don't have billions of dollars to spend. We have maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend in our clinical trials. So I measured waist circumference. It's free. And to my great surprise, this was Christmas Eve. I get the waist. I said, no way. They lost huge amount of waist circumference, up to 8.5 inches. No change in diet. Even more remarkably, they didn't lose weight. Well, how can that be? Well, I think consistent with the animal evidence and what I'm seeing anecdotally play out in thousands of people is you lose abdominal fat, but you restore youthful muscle. We're seeing that play out. So I think what I stumbled on by accident
This is
is a
huge.
way to shift body composition. The complete opposite, by the way, of these garbage GLP-1 agonist drugs.
Yeah.
So I want to reiterate, this is a huge reason to take this seriously and watch the entire video, because all the running and exercising and whatever else you do and dieting, you're at a certain level of BMI, and you have less muscle and more fat than you would if you had L-reuteri in your system. And I would say go for the yogurt because you can maximize this effect by doing so.
Yeah.
That, of course,
Exactly.
cause huge loss of muscle, guarantees weight regain. So if a person
Right.
has a choice, stop the drug and see your health deteriorate when you regain all the weight as fat, or stay on the drug forever and be held hostage by the pharmaceutical industries. So
I think even
yeah.
one of your videos, you mentioned you personally gained how much muscle mass?
So in my 60s, I gained about 13 pounds of muscle, and my strength increased by 50%. Uh, I mentioned to you in emails, I hate going to the gym. I can't stand it.
Right.
So I go 15 minutes on a busy week. I go 15 minutes once a week. I haven't been to the gym in 5 months, by the way, but I do other things. But so that's what I'm seeing. Now, I don't know if that happens to everybody. I do see ladies, they get mad at me. They say, hey, I'm doing your program in the Reuteri and I gained 8 pounds. I asked them, have you looked in the mirror? Have you measured your waist? They said, well, yeah, my waist is smaller. My shoulders are firmer. My thighs and buttocks and neck are firmer. So presumptive, we got to do this more formally, like do a DEXA study or something like that, formally quantify the shift in muscle and all that business. But, all we're doing though, right?
Okay, so we're going to go back to, let's see, where were we? We're going back to this National Institute of Health website. And so we looked at the conclusion here. There's a conflict of interest statement here. There's a bunch of references where this all came from. The authors declare that the research was conducted in the absence of any commercial or financial relationships that could be construed as potential conflict of interest. I believe sells these probiotics, and those are the things that you can take, or you can actually produce the yogurt from them. So he has a conflict of interest. But that reminds me, we were going to check on. So, checking on Dr. Davis, just what we could find about it. He's a renowned cardiologist and #1 New York Times best-selling author. He joined the FMCA, founder and CEO Dr. Sandra Scheinbaum, to discuss groundbreaking research on the microbiome. That's all I found on this page about Dr. Davis. All right, going back to Institute of Health. Where is it? Okay. Anyway, so we're going to go back to and read some more about it. Who should be cautious when taking L-reuteri? Individuals with weakened immune systems, such as those undergoing chemotherapy or living with chronic illnesses, should consult healthcare providers before using L-reuteri supplements due to its infection risks associated with probiotics entering sterile areas of the body. Furthermore, pregnant or breastfeeding women should seek medical advice since research on safety in these populations remains limited. Balancing benefits and risks for optimal health. While understanding potential side effects, it's equally vital to recognize that many people benefit significantly from L-reuteri supplementation without adverse outcomes when used appropriately. Starting with low doses and monitoring your body's response can help minimize unwanted effects while maximizing benefits like improved digestion and enhanced immunity. In conclusion, L-reuteri offers promising health advantages, but also carries potential side effects that shouldn't be overlooked, especially among vulnerable groups. Being informed about these risks empowers you to make safer choices regarding probiotic use tailored specifically for your health needs. Okay, we'll go back to the video now.
All along,
Yeah,
everyone's supposed to.
So I just wanted to stop at that one point. Okay, so this microbe, obviously, we were supposed to have it initially, and I'm guessing some past antibiotic wiped it out, or bad food, or something. And I think you mentioned even in your book or another video that what percentage of the population just doesn't have this microbe anymore?
About 96%. So it is very susceptible, as are many lactobacilli, to common antibiotics. So if you took amoxicillin 30 years ago for an upper respiratory infection, wiped out all your reuteri. What's so fascinating about that is if we sequence the microbiomes of somebody living in the highlands of New Guinea or the Brazilian rainforest and the Amazon, people unexposed to antibiotics, etc., they all have reuteri. They all have it. If we sequence wild mammals like deer or giraffes or lions, they all have reuteri, suggesting it's necessary for mammalian health. It's us who've lost it. The original discoverer, Dr. Gerhard Reuter, said it was everywhere in the 1960s. He got it from the breast milk of a German breastfeeding mom, and he found it in stool and other body fluids. Over his 40-year academic career, he found it increasingly difficult to find it. It started to disappear. And since then, that's been corroborated. It's virtually disappeared from the human microbiome. And I think that's why we're seeing such over-the-top effects, restoring something people have lost and doing so at very high counts.
Wow. So then what happens, you lose this microbe, which also, by the way, tends to protect against small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, right? It does a lot of things in the small intestine too. And then it probably, because it's not there, then you start getting this invasion from the large intestine climbing up to the small intestine. Is that what happens too sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, after this section, they're going to be talking about the thing I was trying to think of, and it's SIBO, S-I-B-O, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, something like that. And you can go to the link in the description to watch this section. We're going to go straight forward to the section that is talking about how to make it.
One capsule, and then we will open it up. And then we're going to take,
now we're going to go
very simple how we make this.
Here we go.
We're going to take the probiotic, one capsule, and then we will open it up. And then we're going to take inulin, This is a tablespoon. Take 2. Take organic half and half, just to make a paste. Mix it up really good. Don't put too much of that half and half in there right off the bat, just about 2 tablespoons. And then we can pour the rest of this half and half in there. 1 quart. I'm going to mix this up really good. I'm going to take a container, 2 containers, and we'll pour some of this in here. Even it out pretty good. Okay, we're putting this mixture into the yogurt maker. We have 2 of them, right? Very carefully. Okay, now we have to add water to it. So I'm going to pour the water like so. And I want that level to be at the same level as the mixture inside the containers. We now have the water at the level of a little bit more than I wanted, so that's fine. Okay, here's the next part. And of course, if you have a different machine, you're going to have to just do the same type of thing. On the left, we have temperature and time. So we can press this once, okay? And then we want this at 99 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to bring this down, okay? And then press start on that. And then now what we're going to do, we have 8 hours. We're going to go up to 36 hours, okay? And then we press start again. And guess what? We're done. We're going to put the top on it. And then we're going to wait for 36 hours. And then after that's done, we are going to then put it in the refrigerator for storage. Okay, we're pulling it out of the refrigerator after 36 hours and leaving in the refrigerator for a couple hours to cool down. And now we're going to consume a half of a cup of this every single day. It's amazing. It's rich. It's delicious. You can add berries to it. If you need to add a sweetener, go ahead. But I think you'll find it quite delicious. A half a cup a day.
So, excuse me, I'm looking at the possibility of buying a yogurt maker for this, and at Walmart, they have a 36-hour maker yogurt machine, adjustable temperatures for $41.88. I assume you have to order online. The cheapest one is this Euro Cuisine one, but I don't know if that's 36-hour. Here's a 36-hour for $37. Walmart, free shipping, $37.99. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching this video and staying with us during our technical difficulties. And the video part down in the lower right hand corner, we just don't have that activated because we'll get it activated in the future on future videos. Okay, and so please subscribe to American Northwest Magazine, and I will put the timestamp in here so that you can fast forward to the part after our technical difficulties.